I never got my chance to meet him, but we're going to meet a man right now who met him twice, took 25 trips to Vatican City. Yes, our next guest wasn't maybe a big fan of the Pope when he first met him, but his mind was completely changed after he actually met Pope John Paul II.
Stephen Ray joins us from Detroit. He's a documentary filmmaker on the papacy and the author of Upon This Rock and the Papacy Learning Guide. Welcome to our show, sir.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I have mixed emotions this day, but I'm very happy to be here.
Well, let's talk about your mixed emotions. Apparently, your mind was changed somewhat. We're looking here live at pictures. That's not the Sistine Chapel, I'm not sure, the top of it. But your views were changed a lot after listening to the Pope and meeting with him. How so?
Well, I was raised in a tradition that was very anti-Catholic, a Protestant tradition, and we had a great suspicion of the Catholic Church and of the papacy, not necessarily of John Paul himself because he was such a marvelous man, but the office that he held, I was raised to be very suspicious of that. And over a course of my life, as I did research and study on the early history of the Church, and as I saw John Paul II functioning as the Pope in the world in such a marvelous way and as such a magnificent man, an example of the gospel of Jesus Christ, over a period of time, and it was 11 years ago, I fell in love with the Catholic Church, and I wanted to be a Catholic. And it was an amazing process for us because it was like a huge chasm that was impossible to cross. But with the help of the Holy Spirit and doing all the research I did and meeting the Pope on a couple of occasions, that made the transition much smoother. And seeing him laying here today, having seen him about 10 times and met him personally twice, the mixture of emotions is, like I put up on my blog this morning, I said, I weep and I rejoice. I weep because it's going to feel like a lonely place now. I think not only Catholics, but the whole world will sense a bit of loneliness, a sense of loss, like a father has died. But at the same time, we know that as a faithful Christian, as one who believed in Jesus Christ and heaven, and who lived a life of a Christian, I can just see him being welcomed into heaven with choirs of angels. So this is a great mixture of emotions that I have. It was the same great mixture of emotions when I met him the first time, too. I had a little speech prepared to tell him how I had converted to the Catholic Church, and when he got within 10 feet of me, I guess guys aren't supposed to admit this kind of thing, but I started to sob. And I wept, and I never was able to say one word to the Pope other than I kissed his ring as a sign of my obedience and love and pledge of loyalty to him and to the Catholic Church.
Well, you can say that you wept. Mighty men of God have wept bitterly as we read that in the Scriptures. And you were talking about your suspicion of the Catholic Church, shedding a little history here on it. I remember when John Kennedy was running for president, there was some concern perhaps that he might not win because of the fact he was Catholic. But obviously a lot has changed in this country.
I think it has, and I think it has a lot to do with John Paul and how he conducted his ministry as the Pope. In many ways, he opened it up. It was less mysterious. It was less secretive, and he came out to the people. He was one of us. He wasn't just a dignitary or a prince. He was a real person who had struggled in life and suffered pain, and he was like one of us. And when he came out of the Vatican City and went to meet people in every country, and he allowed people like myself, very unworthy, to come and visit him, and he was so warm, and when he shook our hand and gave us a rosary, he even made the sign of the cross on my wife Janet's forehead and prayed for her. I think that he opened the doors to many people and blew away a lot of the smoke of suspicion and so on. And even though many may still disagree with the teachings of the Catholic Church and the papacy, he still made it much easier for people to listen and to approve of it. And as for myself, as an example, I came all the way across the Tiber River, all the way to the Catholic Church, and I've never regretted it for a moment in the 11 years since that took place.
Boy, great memories, Stephen Ray. We really appreciate you being here with us.
You're welcome.
Okay.